t-shirt, man.
So we're getting the boards ready.
Well, we're not.
Well, of course. They're getting the board ready for us today. These are what, longboarding?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I don't even know what these are called.
It does look like it.
Sup-loves. Is that how they pronounce it? Sup-love? Yeah.
Cheese. Alright, let me take a picture.
Really big pictures and shit.
Yeah, man. For his YouTube channel.
Raise one hand all the way up.
This is how you adjust the
Yeah,
paddle.
this thing's more cumbersome than it is helpful, I think.
Then, if you can take
This ain't
one
helping
hand
really.
on top of the handle, and then put the paddle on top of your head, holding onto the handle, and the other hand about halfway down the shaft.
Kind of like that.
So on top of your head. Here we go. And then you put both.
It's just a good placement where your bottom hand should be at, which is when you hold it up at like a 90, both arms, then your left hand is where in the middle of the paddle is where it's a good indicator where you should hold your paddle. So that's what's up.
Only one here last week, so I'm going to give the whole kind of
please do.
the whole
always use reinforcement.
the whole speech again, starting with we are on here. This is the Verdigris River. The Port of Catoosa is just, I mean, once we get on the main channel of the river, you'll be able to look up to your left or to the north, and you'll be able to see the entrance into the Port of Catoosa, which you probably all know a little bit about, but the this is, I think that this is accurate, that this is the inlandmost port in the entire United States. So this water that we'll be on eventually actually touches the Gulf of Mexico. So if you get in it and just keep going downstream and go through all the locks, you'll eventually end up in the Mississippi River and then into the Gulf of Mexico. Which, what that means to us is that it is actually U.S. Coast Guard regulated water. So in the U.S. Coast Guard has defined stand-up paddleboards as vessels, which means we talk about them as if they were a boat or a ship, meaning that we refer to the front of it as a bow, the back of it as the stern, the right side of it as the starboard side, the left side of it as the port side, and so on and so forth. It also, because it's a vessel, we have to adhere to the U.S. Coast Guard rules and regulations with respect to personal flotation devices. So that's why everybody's wearing a life jacket. If you're on any other lake in Oklahoma, my best advice to you is if you're on a stand-up paddleboard, pretend like you're on U.S. Coast Guard waters and wear a life jacket so that you don't get ticketed. And if it's windy and you get blown off the board or fall off the board and it blows away from you, it's better to have a life jacket on than not. So, all right. I started this whole thing because I wanted a stand-up paddleboard and had to drive to Dallas to buy one that I wanted, and I thought that was ridiculous. And so, long story, I became a paddleboard dealer when I have another job, another career, but I love this. I love doing it. I like talking about it. I like sharing it with other people, and so here I am. And I like doing it by myself. I like going out, by myself, or Monty and I have gone out, early in the morning, or with my wife, or with my kids. And what I found is, it's really social for those of you who may be runners that go out and run or do things like that. It's I enjoy going out and run by myself, but when you can get a big group of people and talk and carry on, that's fun for me. So Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. Well, so, but as I've gotten into this more, I mean, I really have found that I enjoy not only talking about it, but sharing it with people and making sure that they learn what I think to be some of the fundamental basics that they need to know to not only be safe out on the water, but to start to develop some techniques of proper paddling, so that whether you buy a board here and do it here, or whether you go on vacation somewhere and do it, then you've been exposed to it and you know about it, and you can go out there and be proficient wherever you are, whether it's here or wherever your travels may take you. So in starting that kind of, down that road, what I wanted to do this summer was start having paddle nights, get people out here and teach them how to be comfortable on the board, because for most people they've never done it and this is a new experience, and most people, not all people, but feel a little bit unstable and their legs might shake a little bit at first, which is absolutely normal, but the longer you're on it, the more comfortable you become, and the better you'll get. I want to make sure you're paddling properly, because this is paddling, and I always say this is paddling and not rowing. Everybody sees that, knows about rowing. Rowing is like this. You use your arms. But this is not rowing, this is paddling. So for the most part, your arms are going to be, they shouldn't be locked, but think about it as if they were locked. On one hand is going to be on the tape, the other hand on top of the paddle, and for the most part they're going to be straight, and you're going to use your core, meaning the rotation of your body, to pull the paddle through the water, right? So this is paddling, this is rowing. This is incorrect, this is correct. Just like when pitchers throw a baseball, or a football player throws a football, I mean, they use their arm, they'll use their arm, but their power is coming from the core rotation. That's where they generate their power, because this is where all your big, strong muscles are. These are where your little, weak muscles are, your arm. So that's what I want for you, is I want you to use your big, strong muscles and get the full benefit. I mean, if you row, you'll be able to move the board, but your arm's going to get tired. 4 things I want to tell you about the paddle stroke. And I break it down into 4 what I think are fairly easy concepts. One is the reach. So if you're paddling on the right side of your board, your right hand will be on the bottom. So you're paddling on the right, your right hand will be on bottom. The reach is when you're reaching that blade out towards the front of the board. Both arms are going to be straight, and you're going to reach. You get more reach by extending your arms and by rotating your body. So you have the reach, then you have the catch, where you set the blade in the water. That's what we call the catch. You're catching the water. So we have the reach, the catch, where you're setting the blade in the water, and you want to set the blade all the way up to the, past where the blade becomes just the shaft. That's the set, or the catch. And then you have the pull, where you're pulling the blade through the water with your core. So you're rotating your core to pull that blade through the water. Then you have the release, which is the end of the stroke, which is right at your feet where you're standing. So you have the reach, the catch, where you're setting the blade in the water, the pull, and the release at your feet, where you take it out and you start it over again. When you're pulling the blade through the water, you want the shaft of the paddle to be as vertical or perpendicular to the water as possible. So as that blade is being pulled through the water, try to keep this straight up and down, which means you're going to have to stack your top hand on top of your bottom hand. If they're not stacked, you'll be at an angle like this, which will cause you to turn more to the left. The straighter you can hold it, the more stacked you can get your hand on top of the other one, and the straighter the shaft is, the straighter you'll track when you're paddling through the water. Then you'll have to switch sides eventually, because even if you have it perfectly straight up and down, you will start to veer a little bit one way or the other, or the current may take you one way or the other, or if there's wind, which we don't really have any wind tonight. But in any event, you're going to have to switch sides. You know, if nothing else, you're going to get tired just going on one side the whole time. Then you also are going to need to know how to turn. And what I want to work with you guys on, at least initially, is 2 turns. We have the sweep turn, which you do everything the same. You'll have the reach, the catch, but then the pull, instead of pulling straight back, you'll sweep out to the side. You'll sweep all the way out as wide as you can get. That sweep will cause you to turn sharply the other direction. And then finally, we have the reverse turn, which is just taking the paddle behind you on one side or the other and pulling the opposite direction. That'll slow you down and cause you to turn sharply. So those are things that we're going to work on briefly out here in the water. Make sure everybody's comfortable executing those turns, and then we'll get out on the main channel and try to get a nice paddle in.
And this is how you carry it. There's a hand spot for it. And then it's manageable by women, so not too bad. And what you want to do is you want to put your rudder inside the watcher.
The concept is similar on a stand-up paddleboard. The more forward momentum you have, the more balance you'll have in transition to your feet. So when you're ready to transition to your feet, just paddle a couple times on the right, a couple times on the left, get a little momentum going, and then stand up. As you stand up, just keep your eyes on the horizon.
That's important.
Good. If you're not, you can feel unsteady, drop back down to your knees. We're the smallest boat out there with the least amount of maneuverability. So pretend like you have no right of way. Yeah. And what I mean by that is if your pass is going to intersect with another boat, always veer off, and if you have to cross paths, do it behind or astern of the other vessel. Unless there's any questions, I'll help you launch. And you guys just, as you're putting the boards in the water, just keep them enough distance apart as you're moving them so you don't bang into each other. But let's get in the water.
You want to scoot yours down? No, I'll scoot mine.
So what you're supposed to do is slowly reach over with your right hand and your left hand and your knees and stuff. So. Alright. Jesse's getting pretty good. We're heading north on the Vargas, so. And this is everybody.
I don't know when to stop.
Sorry. That's some good footage. We got some bars over here. We're gonna wait until they pass us, then we'll go. So we're kind of just going off to the side.
I'll tell you what though, man. I'm really glad I've surfed before, because it makes a big difference. Like being able to balance on the board a little bit. I mean, I'm not like no pro surfer or anything, but it makes a big difference being able to.
Oh hell yeah! I'm still freaking twitching over here.
Yeah, you won't stop because of all the waves in the water, but.
Oh, sorry about that, you guys. I'm gonna cross the river and I'm pretty sure we're gonna go back.
Cut up, see the six pack,
No.
arms, and you didn't feel any here. You weren't doing it right.
Of course I feel it there, the whole pack.
The funnest part of all now, taking them uphill. Yeah. And everybody's arms are probably going to be a little bit tired, so if you need to stop and change arms, and stop, just put the, try to put the board down in the grass, if you have to stop. But that's fine. If you need to stop, take a break. All right, come back now. Yeah. Carol, if you want to grab, even grab further down. And so when they're paddling, I mean, they're really bending their knees and getting way low.
Yeah, my quads are going to hurt now.
So, those are all things that after you do it enough, you'll find what's comfortable for you. The things that I talked about is just kind of a good.
Crystal would lose her shit if she saw those dogs in the back of that truck. My wife would flip if she saw those dogs in the back of the truck.
She would want them?
No, she would not be happy that they have the dogs in the back of the truck. It's not safe. She works at a vet clinic.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's seen some stuff.
Yeah.
So.